Hey folks, it's Brian. I apologize for the outfit and the look. I was exercising and realized I didn't do a session review for our last game of Elderath, which was Saturday night. So, session 82. The orc ship got away, but West did get that final parting lightning bolt shot. Okay, so we gathered up the bodies that are left in the water, the dead members of our team, right? And begin to pull the cog along with the long ship back to port when we do in fact spot the flying ship. So there's a lot of discussion on, do we use all 4 scrolls now? Do we only use 2? Do Raymond and West go? Or do 2 other Feeks go? Or how long can we go? How fast does it take us? And what happens if we run out? And how do we get back to the ship? And all kinds of discussion going on, which reminds me, that's all in the live play if you like to watch that kind of stuff. Okay, so Wes and Raymond do cast the flight scrolls, and we go up to the ship, while the rest start taking the ships back to the island, which we'll say is Nis. Is that right? Well, anyway, so we get up there, and the flying ship is not a longboat, nor is it an air raft. It appears to be a 2-masted racing sloop. At least that's what Raymond says. But West knows that it looks an awful like the ship that was tied up behind the Jolly Roger, which was the pirate ship at dock by the pub where we found the hidden journal. It's all tied into this guy that went to the ice planet and pretended to be killed in an ice ship racing thing. And but looks just like that ship, right? Okay, the rigging though is a total mess, right? The foremast is hanging over the side. There's a body hanging from the rigging up higher, or maybe it's hanging from below. That makes more sense. Okay, so we look at the controls and holy crap, neither of us know anything about sailing. Neither Wes nor Raymond, nor Dylan, nor what's Raymond's other character named Raymond? It's a very complicated rigging system, but it looks like everything ties back here. There's this machine with wheels, and the ropes go in, they come out, and all that kind of stuff. The mainsail seems to be okay, but it is down. And the ship, we notice, the back of the ship is named the Far Horizon in English, which is the common tongue of the colonies where Dylan is from. Okay, on the other side, on either side, just forward of the rudder, are 2 repulsor plates. Okay, so we go down below decks. There's a secondary control station. There's a seat with instruments that are monitoring the weather and other atmospheric effects. Wes, having been in a mobile infantry suit, there's similar sorts of gauges here, right? Altitude, rate of descent, yaw, controls like that, right? And there is a panel. It's not obvious, but it's not hidden, but it's built inside the wall. And we find it, and inside there is, in fact, another computer screen, and it indicates that there is some engine damage. And we notice that the power level is around 1%. So Raymond starts working on the computer, trying to figure stuff out, while Wes starts running through the ship looking for storage bays. I'm looking for essentially tech items. Initially, I was thinking of power cells for the ship, but that seemed to be not appropriate. So, looking for anything, right? Looking for storage closets and that kind of thing. Okay, while he's doing that, though, he does notice there's blood stains all around here. So there's fighting that occurred on the ship. Wes does find a ship's locker, an arms locker. There's a box of needler ammo, 100 rounds. There's a combat knife. It's actually a vibro knife, but the cell's been depleted. And a needler repair kit. Meanwhile, Raymond starts searching for the engine room because the power level is at 1%, right? It also has a control center with lots of blinking red lights. Wes continues looking for other lockers. I think he finds miscellaneous things, raincoats and cold weather gear, that kind of stuff. Raymond does figure out from the engine room how to control the pulsars and brings the ship down. The other crew goes wild. They start running all over the ship, looting all kinds of stuff. Wes kind of freaks out and he imposes martial law. He starts yelling at everybody, "Drop what you're doing! Everybody up on deck! Empty your pockets!" And he starts wandering around finding people and taking them upstairs. And he finds a guy digging through something, and he tells him, "Stop what you're doing! Get up on deck!" Um, and this kind of guy ignores him, goes back to doing what he was doing, and Wes tells Emerald, "Go sting him." So she does. She got him good, and he misses his save, so he goes out. Wes grabs him by the collar, drags him up, and throws him on the deck. "Empty your pockets, everybody on the deck." Hjalmar, once he saw or heard Wes yelling and stuff, starts following suit. Everybody, he pulls the sword out. "Everybody, come on, put away, put away." And we get everybody up there. They all start really grumbling, right? And Wes tries to pacify them. So, okay, this is obviously a magic ship, right? It was flying, right? Magic is very dangerous. But we end up putting them back on their ship. Some of the loot, though, that was rummaged are 2 books, a pair of flintlock pistols. They're actually rifled. There are 25 rounds of ammunition. It came from the captain's cabin. Looks, for all intents and purposes, like an 1800s version of a flintlock pistol, right? Except it has a magazine in the handle, and there's no ammo. It uses a 45 caliber short round, though. Okay, so the 2 books. The first book is a pilot's log. That guy I was talking about who died in the ice rigging accident, he's the one who wrote in this book. And it's dated from after the time that we left the Jolly Roger, which was prior to him being on the ice planet and having died. It does make a reference to a thing called the Infinite Corridor. There are also photos in here, one of the Far Horizons and one of the Jolly Roger. And it seems to be tracking his voyages, places he had been. There are references to normal land navigation type terms, right? 3-dimensional things plus space plus time and distance. But then there are these other navigational references. We're not clear what they refer to. We guess it refers to that Infinite Corridor thing. The other is his journal. It appears to be documenting and is cross-referencing with the logbook various flora, fauna of the places he visited. He's got samples and sketches and references to geological samples taken, interesting things he found, and some interestingly, some of these drawings are very detailed. You have a micro version, cell structure, and a macro version, the actual leaf kind of thing, right? So these are not only just different biomes, but it's obviously different planets. Emblazoned on the front cover is a relief of a lotus blossom, which, in fact, is the shape of Maliki's ship. Studying through these things give us skill bonuses in herb lore, animal lore, mineral lore, xenobiology, xenobotany, and geology. Okay. There is a machine shop on board. It has facilities to repair the ropes because the ropes are not nylon. They're not cotton. They're not normal materials. They're some kind of fiber, composite fiber. And the forward spar damage is going to be a challenge, right? It has been broken. But we think we could probably use the machine shop to make a sleeve to put the 2 pieces in to hold them together. But the rigging, that is something else. And we all remember, Tindo has ship handling skills. We should go get Tindo. We need to figure out how to steer this thing, right? It's going to take us a few days. So we go through and we take an inventory of everything, and we start to discuss how to deal with the Jarl for the salvage because, we're on a mission for the Jarl. Are we on a mission for the Jarl? Because our mission was to go find Mad Eye, but I don't know if that was in fact the deal. I'll have to dig through my notes. But the impression we all have is, okay, the Jarl sent us out with this crew who we told we're going to go catch up with the rest of the sea serpent hunters. But we're actually looking for Mad Eye, right? Figuring he'd become looking for the sea serpent as well. But, okay, we're on a mission for the Jarl. Anything we find belongs to the Jarl. That kind of feudal thing, right? Oh. Wes, though, does make the claim of this ship for Zig. Now, as we go through the rest of the session, well, remember that we made a deal with Thurmond to find the ship. He's the one who gave us the fly scrolls. So because we did that, he gets first dibs on um, analyzing and studying the ship. But the Baron kind of is higher up than the Jarls, technically, and Lady Tamara and Lords of Bloodstone take precedence over the Baron and the Jarls. So Wes thinks he's got a standing on this ship. Doesn't belong to you. Doesn't belong to you. Doesn't belong to you. It belongs essentially to Lady Tamara, and hopefully she'll let us play with it. Okay, so we gift the crew some various items in order to help pacify them again, because they're going, oh, don't we get a share of the cut of the salvage? No. You really think the Jarl's going to give you anything for this boat? He's just going to take it. So here, take these things, shop, and sit down. But things that are no value to us, but may be a value of them, right? The raincoats. Wow, that's cool. You know, pillows, knickknacks, that kind of thing. Okay, so we get the crew over. We lock it up. We get the crew over to look at the sails and the rigging. Okay, can you help us figure this out? How can we get the sails to work again, kind of deal, right? And they see that, you know, all the rigging is locked up in this control box. But, you know, Wes Raymond, oh, there's got to be some kind of mechanical control at least, so you can do it manually, right? So Runt and Raymond go down to the computer because Runt has some computer skills. I had to step out for a while, so I don't know if he's actually illuminated now or if he just had some computer skills. I'm kind of thinking he might be illuminated because we're talking about a lot of computer skills. Or maybe it was just microcomputers he had. Anyway, so Runt and Raymond, with Raymond's mechanical engineering and Runt's computer skills, go through trying to figure stuff out, and they are successfully find how to release the mechanical controls. So the ropes now are just running through the system, right? They're still going through everything, but they just slide. Okay. Now, the sailors used to square rigging, so they pull that team sail out square. Oh, yeah. It's better than, you know, even though, so it is a lantine sail and it's large, so it's going to be better than a regular square sail, right? But it's not nearly what this ship is really capable of, but it's moving. So we decide to sail back to the island, and we continue to figure out these power systems. We do find in the computer systems a thing called a fuel scoop. And for those of us who are Traveler fans, we all know about hydrogen fuel scoops, right? Well, this fuel scoop separates hydrogen from water. And we find a secondary system that's powering the ship that is really weird. If we were just look at it briefly, we'd think it'd be a jump drive, but that's not what it is. And it's also not powered by the hydrogen system. So we spend time refueling the ship, and we discuss issues on what to do, and, you know, what do we do without the crew and how we handle them, you know. But we do owe Thurmond time to thoroughly investigate the ship. This is where I went through my notes and I found this kind of stuff. It doesn't belong to Thurmond because he didn't want to own it. He just wanted to have, not the right of first refusal, he wanted to have the first chance to thoroughly investigate the ship. And based upon Wes's understanding from his MI time, you know, there should be a system for attitude controls here, right? And you know, we talk about if we get back if we get to port, we're going to damage this thing because we can't drive it that well. Although the other crew might be able to. But then Wes thinks, well, just park it out in the bay and we'll take a launch back and forth. And sure enough, there's a space for a launch here, so we need to get a launch from the other thing. We kind of brainstormed a few ideas and stuff, and that's kind of the session ended. It did go a little long. Like I said, it's all in the live play. But that was it. So we're kind of taking off time on, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle this? And what's going to happen next? Happy gaming. Nothing like a flying ship.